Welcome back, Pixel Nation, Comics Division here. How the hell are ya? Well, before we get started, I want to talk about the passing of the EUCD, more specifically, Article 11 and 13. And for some reason, Article 13 was renamed to Article 17, also known as How to Murder Free Speech and Opinions I Don't Like, also known as the internet as we know it is so fucked. So, I'm not exactly sure how this is going to go and affect my European friends. I guess we'll find out the impact as it gets implemented over the next 2 years. Well, the only advice I can give you is, get the hell out of Europe, as quickly as you possibly can. Or, more realistically, get a good VPN, and pray to God that they don't get banned. So, Love, Death, and Robots. It's a new animated anthology series on Netflix. It's created by Tim Miller, and if you haven't seen it, you really should. It's pretty damn awesome, and it's adult sci-fi at its best. But not everyone is loving this new series. Apparently, Abby Robinson over at DigitalSpy is taking some issues with it. Is it gonna be problematic? Love, Death, and Robots has a very big problem, and it's not okay. Let me guess. This article is going to be filled with feminist paper cuts, isn't it? So, Abby, what's the big dealio? Why is this anthology of great sci-fi entertainment so problematic? Oh, and before we get too deep in the woods here, potential spoiler warnings ahead, just so you know. You've been warned. If you don't like spoilers, pause the video, watch the series, and come back. If you want. Or you can just watch the damn video. It's cool. It's cool. In an age where TV is making great strides in female representation, David Fincher and Tim Miller are seemingly resisting those changes. Oh, by the way, Abby, you left out two of the producers, Joshua Donen and Jennifer Miller. One of those producers is a woman, in case you couldn't figure that out on your own. But, hey, enlighten me, Abby. How are they resisting change and not properly representing women? A concerted effort by actors, directors, producers, and various other movers and shakers is underway, with one clear objective in mind. Women have been grossly misused on screen. We will do better. So, what exactly does proper female representation look like? And I have to use that in quotes. Honestly, I have no idea. I'm assuming it's an unlikable and boring character, much like Captain Marvel. You know, women who are devoid of personality, a hero's journey, challenges, that's if it isn't the patriarchy. It's kind of funny because whenever there's an interesting female character, they end up being criticized by feminists as either having a problematic background or perpetuating some kind of stereotype. Or you end up complaining about violence against women, because women can't be action stars, only victims of male violence. Which leaves us with boring Mary Sue characters, much like Captain Marvel or Rey from Star Wars. After all, they are the bestest at everything and have the personality of a block of wood. But carry on, Abby. But while the archaic, toxic tropes are slowly being ripped up and thrown out, Fincher and Miller's Love, Death, and Robots, LDR, remains firmly rooted in the past. Out of all 18 episodes, Tim Miller only directed one, and that was Ice Age. Most of the stories were actually adapted by Phil Gillette, which means that Miller and Fincher didn't write any of these stories. One of the episodes you're complaining about, The Witness, was written and directed by Alberto Miogo. God, I don't know if I said that right. While Sunny's Edge was written by Peter F. Hamilton, adapted by Phil Gillette, and directed by Dave Wilson. You know, if you went to the Wikipedia article and looked it up for yourself, you might know this. Now, having watched the entire series, I can tell that you cherry-picked the hell out of the episodes to make your case. Speaking about the Netflix animated anthology series, in a press release, Miller made it clear that viewers should expect mature content. I'm so fucking excited that the creative landscape has finally changed enough for adult-themed animation to become part of a larger cultural conversation, he said. In Japan, adult-themed animation is not as rare as it is here in the States. Sure, we've had a few things here and there, but nothing really worth noting in the last decade. Honestly, the last thing that comes to mind is the Animatrix. And I'm not really sure if that even counts. While some of the excitement is justified, the vast majority of LDR looks great, and many of its 18 short episodes are amusing, clever, and shocking in the best possible ways. Gratuitous female nudity once again sticks the male and female characters on an entirely unbalanced playing field. Well, let me think about that for a moment. That's completely not true. So, I'm left asking myself, did you watch the series or not? I did, and what I can tell you is that there was plenty of full frontal male nudity, which means either you're ignorant or being willfully dishonest. Nudity on screen is fine. We're all for it. In fact, no you're not. If you were, you wouldn't have written this article. But this is nothing different. Netflix is clearly aware of it. Each episode comes with a sexual violence warning. What was it about adult content that you didn't fully comprehend? Just throwing that out there. The Witness is one of the most disturbing examples. It's really not. A young woman looks out her window to see a man commit a murder in an apartment across the street. His victim looks exactly like her. She then flees her building, and he follows her. You know, I don't really have anything to add here, but it just makes transitioning between the two different clips a lot easier. Carry on. What ensues is a frantic chase through the city streets in which we are led to a BDSM club tucked away inside another building. It's here where the series really commits to its adult, not safe for work promise. There are people dressed up in black PVC gimp suits dotted around the room. And the woman, who we quickly realize is an adult performer, reemerges and performs a routine on a couch in which she is entirely naked. The camera voyeuristically honing in on every inch of her. Full frontal female nudity. Something you said you didn't have a problem with, but apparently you do. So, the murderer, meanwhile, remains fully clothed. What exactly would be the point if he wasn't? It would undermine the tension of what was going on in the episode. Have you ever watched a horror movie before? This is the exact same shit that happens in Friday the 13th. Jason remains fully clothed, while the teenagers getting slaughtered are usually in vulnerable positions. That's kind of the whole point. And he does so throughout the episode, as the majority of the men in the series do. Lady, you are so full of shit. Here's a list of episodes with male nudity. Beyond the Aquila Rift, Sucker of Souls, The Witness, the very one you're complaining about, Good Hunting, The Dump, Shapeshifter, Fish Night, and Alternate Histories, where you get to see Hitler Dick. Oh, please, don't look at me like that. I did not write that episode. After spotting her, she makes a dash for it once again, only managing to grab a kimono, which continuously flaps open, exposing her naked body as she attempts to reach safety. You have clearly missed the point. Nudity in these types of situations projects a sense of vulnerability. Have you ever been in the shower and heard a loud noise and you're like, oh fuck, what was that? You know, because you're naked and vulnerable? It makes the situation that much more frightening, and that's kind of the whole point here. In another episode called The Dump, a guy goes to take a leak, and when the monster shows up, his dingle-dangles hang out, up to the point where he gets eaten by the monster. But you don't bring that up now, do you? I wonder why. Maybe because it completely dismantles your argument. It's yet another display of female suffering and degradation for the sole purpose of entertainment. Yeah, and no one complains about that shit when it happens to men. And a great example of this is Batman, Death in the Family. This is the story arc where Jason Todd gets severely beaten by the Joker and left for dead, with a bomb next to him. Oh, and by the way, he sacrifices himself to save a woman. And you know what?
Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given.
Oh, you knew that one was coming, didn't you? But that's my point. Nobody gives a shit. But when the same treatment is applied to women protagonists, you get shit like this. Oh, and you know what's so delicious about this? 20th Century Fox apologized for the billboard. God forbid they promote a movie. And God forbid there be a female protagonist. And God forbid there be an altercation with the villain. Oh, what's that screeching sound in the background? It's unhappy feminists complaining about violence against women and how insensitive it is. Block of wood, folks. That's what we're getting. Blocks of wood. That the chaser and a chase appear to swap roles at the end is besides the point. Yes, actually, that is exactly the point. These two are caught in an endless cycle of chase and murder. And that sense of vulnerability that makes you sympathize with the woman as she's being pursued by the killer. So if you're triggered by it, that's kind of the point. The episode did its job. Women in varying states of undress are littered throughout the series. So are men. You watched the series, right? Like the whole series, right? I'm pretty sure you didn't. Served no purpose other than to be ogled at. Ouch! My paper cuts! My feminist paper cuts! Ow! And when you consider that this is a series which has been overseen by 2 men. Technically, 3 men and 1 woman. But facts be damned. Also, in 2019, men are no longer allowed to use their imaginations or write female characters as victims that overcome their circumstance. With all of the writing and directing credits that we can see, also male bar 1, there is no way to frame this as anything other than problematic. Stupid. Kristen Cross wrote Sucker of Souls, and Claudine Griggs wrote Helping Hand. You didn't exactly look hard, did you? Fincher, Miller, and co. have been given free rein to explore a wealth of ideas, some high concept, some daft. The press release promoting episodes that are easy to watch and hard to forget. Yep, they pretty much lived up to that. But while The Witness certainly adheres to the latter, it was anything but easy to watch. Oh please, in Helping Hand, the protagonist has to go and literally break off her arm to save her life. And in Good Hunting, Yan gets her legs cut off. Those 2 scenes were way more difficult to watch than The Witness. Sonny's Edge is another episode that stands out for all the wrong reasons. Gang rape is exploited as a plot device which outright refuses to engage with the topic in a reasonable or intellectual way. The writers are simply not interested, and that is both dangerous and offensive. It also serves as Sunny's motivation for why she's doing what she's doing in the story. But clearly you weren't paying attention to that. Like I said, problematic background, violence against women, it's not allowed. Bodies are not a sin. Then why are you acting like it is? And we need more responsible, realistic depiction of male and female form in both sexual and non-sexual scenarios. Translation? Do it the way I want you to do it, or it's bad. But you won't find that in LDNR. That's like your opinion, man. I mean, whoa, man. We see women's bodies in disturbing, threatening scenarios where very real trauma is used as a prop. Do I really need to point out how fucking stupid this statement truly is? Because you're so triggered over this, we are not allowed to enjoy these stories or use these types of scenarios. How about this? Let me give you an example. Oh my god, we need to stop making movies about war because it marginalizes the depiction of male trauma and suffering. This is very real trauma that is being used as a prop. You realize how stupid that sounds, right? The series flagrantly flaunts its unwillingness to get with the times, and the people involved really should do better. Oh, piss off, lady. This is the kind of stupid bullshit that further divides men and women. You're not helping. Honestly, folks, go and judge the series for yourself. In my opinion, it's great. My favorite episodes are Beyond the Aquila Rift, Helping Hand, Good Hunting, Lucky 13, Suits, and 3 Robots. Let me know what your favorites are in the comments below. So, if you enjoyed this video, go and give it a thumbs up, or hate like it. Subscribe for more of my crappy content and shitty opinions. Bash that bell for instant notifications, and don't forget to share it with your friends. You can also find me on Twitter, Gab, and BitChute. I'll see you next time, folks.